I'm good to go whenever you is.
All right, it is week 12. That means we only have 3 more weeks left before the playoffs start. Last week looks like a normal week of scores and everything that happened, as long as you don't look at either end of the spectrum. Miller, second lowest score of the year with 55 points. Aaron, highest score of the year with 175 points. So everyone else right there mashed in like the normal area, but those two just took it upon themselves to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, Alex broke 100 and Miller lost by over 50 to Alex. So, like, it's just, crazy stuff happens.
Speaking of which, that was our game of the week. We kind of pride ourselves on picking the closest matchup there. So it wasn't the closest, but I mean, whenever Alex gets a win, like that's got to be game of the week. So did we nail it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, the mid-season name changes have been proven beneficial until Mir decided to change his team name. Yeah. And he has gone 0-4 since then with some catastrophic scores. Those are the words I was trying to say. I'm proud of myself.
The first victim of one of those season ruiner games where Alex had nothing to win there, but he could take Miller down with him.
Yeah, and going into this coming week, it's not looking any better, unfortunately, for Mir. So Alex may have killed his season just right then and there.
Going to Aaron's game, Chris versus Aaron. Chris went with the double tight end strat like we've talked about, and so Aaron put in one tight end that was the third best quarterback on the week. So
yeah, and to Chris's credit, I mean, he scored 130. That's a good week. Normally, you're like, hell yeah.
Chris actually would have had the number one score if Aaron didn't play this week. So super upsetting for him, but he does get that median win.
Yay, median. If it makes Chris feel better, there was a 75-yard touchdown for Nico Collins that was called back due to penalty. So it could have been worse.
Yeah, Aaron could have hit the 200-point game potentially, which he did fall 2 points shy of being in the top 10 scores of all time. So unfortunately, his name will not go on that leaderboard. Then we had me versus Jacob. Jacob, you made it way closer than it needed to be there.
Way too close. I have a question for you fellas. You know those penalties, the Kansas City Chiefs penalties, where the lineman lines up too far back and they let the play happen, even though they're going to call it dead. Do you like the fact that they let the play happen?
Indifferent.
Well, because it allowed me to see Calvin Ridley get a 51-yard touchdown that would have beat Bo with it and would have gave me the median with it, but instead was called back because a right tackle that has nothing to do with the play lined up a half a foot too far back.
And we all know right tackles have nothing to do with passing plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, right tackles are notoriously not important on passing plays.
No, it's left tackles. We know this.
But your 2 highest scores of the year are against me and Kevin, so good job.
What's up? Unfortunately, I only got 1 win out of it, but that's fine.
Is it?
No.
Garrett versus Colt. Garrett just takes it to Colt every time they play. He's 5-1 against him all time, and they played earlier this year, and he beat him 115-69. So he does not care about Colt's feelings, and he does not care to be on that grilling episode.
Is Garrett a vegan?
You can still grill vegan food.
That's true.
Yeah, but Colt doesn't.
No, that's true.
Also, wanted to point out that we did make fun of Colt a little bit there for starting Jawan Jennings because he spent 50 fab on him when ends up being his best player in his lineup. So, you know what? Fair enough. Still wasn't enough.
To be fair, it wasn't so much that he started Jawan Jennings as that he didn't start Brian Robinson, who would have been his best running back of the week. So, true. Colt, you're still an idiot, but, good job on Jawan Jennings.
Yeah. Last game of the week was Chase versus Kev, which was looking like a close game. And then Sunday Night Football, the last few seconds, J.K. Dobbins with a 30-yard touchdown just jumped that lead, made it look impossible for Chase. But, Chase has voodoo on Monday Night Football, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, no lead is safe, apparently, against Chase. I think it was a 25-point lead. First drive, Joe Mixon gets a 30-yard touchdown or something like that. And I was like, that's not great. He got half the points he needed right there. The next scoring drive the Texans had, Joe Mixon scores again. That's when I turned the game off. I went and played Call of Duty. I was like, I've seen enough. I don't care to know anymore. Monday nights versus Chase, man. I got to make sure I play him when he doesn't have any Monday players, apparently.
Yeah, and that first touchdown run by Mixon, he looked so unimpressed by the Cowboys defense. He's running in
He did get tackled at the 1-yard line before his second touchdown. I was like, oh, that's good news for Kev. And you see Joe Mixon going, I want it. I was like, ooh, that's not good. Yeah. And he got it. So
yeah, in that 3-touchdown game, the third touchdown is what knocked me out of the median too. So
I hope I don't see Chase in the playoffs. I'm tired of these having a lead and then losing on Monday. So I don't know if this is redemption, for him for last year. I beat him in the championship, so this is his revenge.
I completely forgot about that. This all really makes sense now that you beat him in the championship and he's just really taking it to you on Monday night. So, all right, we've solved the issue.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. Then if we jump into the standings, again with the middle movement there, the top 4, me, Aaron, Kevin, Chris, do not move. Chase and Garrett hold hands. Jump both Colt and Miller, who hold hands. Jacob and Alex stay at the bottom 2. There's a 3-way tie for 3rd now, which is only 1 week ahead of 8th place still. There's a tie for 6th between Garrett and Colt. 6 more wins left, so those points 4 are really going to be very, very important coming down to it. Chris and Garrett almost the exact same number of points. Chase and Colt 8 points apart, and then Miller's 20 points behind them. So it is close as it can be all the way around.
Yeah, it's getting a little uncomfortable, I think I'll say, for the folks that are in that, I guess, 3 through 8 range, I guess, now at this point. Really 3 through 7. I think, no offense to Miller, your team is dying, unfortunately, at the worst possible time of the season. Yeah, I mean, it's really just anyone's game. I feel like pretty much you and Aaron probably got it locked up. I think you are locked in. There's no way for you out.
I locked into the playoffs and locked into the bye week on the same week. Just went ahead and got both of them real quick.
There you go.
Now I can have 4 bye weeks. I'm not going to do anything these next 4 weeks.
I think Aaron is probably not mathematically, but most likely.
Yeah, he needs to go 3-3 to keep the tie, and he's also 200 points ahead of the next person. So
yeah, I mean, scoring 175 really does help the average there.
Yeah, Jacob and Alex officially completely out. Basically, the top 2 are ready to go, and the bottom 2 are ready for next year.
As the 9th place finisher, I got the 2nd overall pick, so all I got to worry about is what the 1st overall pick will be. Oh, no, I don't. I kind of already know who I'm going to get, so that's fine.
He's probably watched more college football this year than he has like the previous 4 years combined at this point.
I have, yeah.
I mean, with week 5 being his last check in the win column, I could see him taking the past 7 weeks to just watch college football.
What's up? Here we go. So as we just got done discussing the standings there, you did hear that I am out of the playoffs. In celebration of that, we have some Blackberry Crown Royal, and we're doing some shots. Maybe just one shot. If you haven't tried some Blackberry Crown Royal, it's really freaking good. Here's in celebration of my season being over and being terrible, and here's better season next year. It's only 5 wins, so I mean, come on. Come on. Very good, though. You can also mix it with drinks. Lemonade's a very good option. Don't have lemonade. Another good option is Coke. Coke. We're gonna slowly pour it. And then, roughly a shot of some Blackberry Crown Royal again right in there. Depending on how sad you are, how much you're celebrating, you can just pour a little bit more in there. And then you get a little straw, mix it together. Delicious. We're gonna go 10 out of 10 to the 4 out of 10 just for the honor of my wins this season, and we're gonna go 23 out of 10 for the number of wins I'm getting next year. So it's been a great season, y'all. See you next year.
All right, well, getting into this week's matchups, we got another all tops versus all bottoms, so that's real fun.
Hold on. No, you know what? I feel left out. I think I'm staying the rest of the season. But yeah, I heard tops and bottoms.
And it's also the incredibly massive late bye week.
2 weeks from now, it's even worse. So
yeah, I was gonna say we get a couple of these right at the end of the season. It's dumb.
For these crazy late bye weeks, so me and Jacob don't have to worry about anything. We're basically in the same boat.
Whew. Took some hard work to get in this position.
But if we get into this week's games, we have Mixing It Up versus Dream Rotation. Chase right there tied for 3rd, really trying to stay in the playoffs. Alex completely at the bottom. Is there any way he ruins 2 people's seasons in back-to-back weeks?
It would definitely be a big blow if Chase doesn't come out with the 2-0 this week. For me and him, we'll get to my game later, but I feel like both of us really need to locked in a 2-0 on this week. We have a golden opportunity. But yeah, I mean, you can never discount that Alex Apocalypse. He has the players that if it all lines up, it gets a little spooky. And we've all seen Chase's team be kind of all over the place this year, except when he's playing me. But Chase should win this game, but you never know with Alex, especially now, late season shenanigans. He's just out here trying to ruin people's seasons, taking that Jared Goff nickname from season 1.
Yeah, the stress of the playoffs for Alex is gone, so he's out there able to relax, able to play his best football now. So
exactly.
Yeah. He's basically playing like Jameis or Joe Flacco from last year. Nothing to lose. Let's just
exactly. Just chuck it.
Yeah.
Excited to see some snow. That's all.
But yeah, Chase is in that 3-way tie for third, and he is a decent chunk of points behind you and Chris. So he's going to need the 2-0 and to hopefully rack up some points, because we see how close it is. It's probably going to come down to it. Yeah,
I have a feeling at least the 6th seed will probably come down to a points for tiebreaker. Definitely got to rack up the points when you can. Definitely got to claim the 2-0s.
Yeah, then we do have Red Rain versus Sin City Slots. Like you said, Kevin, potentially a gimme game here against Miller and his...
Yeah, I mean, we're going to walk through some of the people that Miller's going to have to start this week because of the bye weeks, because of injuries. He's starting Tommy DeVito. Not great just to start things off. Yeah, exactly. Tommy DeVito. He has got James Conner, great running back. Gus Bus, he's splitting carries with JK. Jaden Reed, also stud. It gets a little sketchy after that. Kayshawn Booty. Yeah, Jacoby Myers, he's okay. TJ Hawkinson, big name, hasn't really done much this season coming off the injury. Yeah, that's not a lineup. When you look at it, you're like, hey.
But yeah, Miller, we talked him up earlier in the season. We were like, man, he used to only be Josh Allen. Now you got all these players, and now he's missing all of them. I went and looked. He's missing Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Mooney, Ayuk, and also Josh Allen. He is going to be riding his playoff hopes on the backs of Tommy DeVito and the Backyardigans.
You hate to see it, but like we said before, this is a 2-0 that I should be able to claim. Hoping no shenanigans from the Backyardigans, but, we'll see what happens.
Then next up, we have the Rocky Mountain Ghouls versus the Hungry Hush Puppies. And Jacob being officially out, Aaron trying to screw that first round bye. This is potential for you to ruin somebody's season.
Yeah, how funny would it be if I did? Maybe I need to pull some of that mirror magic against Aaron. Nobody else, but against Aaron. Maybe I make the right starts this week. Who knows? My potential last week was 170. Wouldn't have beat Aaron, but it would have been a lot closer.
Could really help me out, too, if you will knock Aaron down a peg. Keep him out of that bye week for a little bit longer. Give me a chance.
Usually whenever we're saying season ruiner, it's like knocking Miller out of the playoff season ruiner. But if you knock Aaron out of that bye week, it probably ruins his season.
He's out week 1.
But yeah, I mean, there's potential because he's missing a ton too. If you looked at his team, you wouldn't think he's missing all these players, but he's missing Burrow, Breece Hall, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, Chris Godwin, and the quarterback in the tight end slot, Taysom Hill. Missing almost a whole team there.
The great part is I don't have to go against the quarterback that scored 40 points last week. The bad part is I have to go against a quarterback that scored 50 points last week. A little rough, but, Bo Namath probably scores 16. Jane Daniels probably goes off for 52.
I don't know. Now that you're officially out of the playoffs, you'll probably make all of the correct decisions.
You're actually right. I'm probably scoring 193 this week.
Yeah. These last 3 weeks are going to average like 170.
That would be hilarious if that's what you do.
Him and Alex just go undefeated from here on out.
Right, yeah.
Then we have Trade Station versus the Grillers. Like we said, I secured the first round bye, and Colt just fell out of the playoffs, technically tied for 6th.
Yeah, he's about to have to grill his season if he doesn't turn it around.
So much upside this year from him. It would be such a disappointment to just miss the playoffs in the last few weeks.
It's not an unsurmountable gap between him and Garrett on the points for. It's only about 60 points. So if Garrett drops a stinker and Colt has a good week, that 60 points can go away pretty quick. But
yeah, this last week's matchup between Colt and Garrett might turn out to be a very important one that Colt lets slip away.
That was a 54-point difference there. That's about the difference in their points.
They have a 62-point gap, and he lost by 54 head-to-head, so that's tough.
Well, that is one way to throw away your season, Colt.
You hate to see it.
Yeah. You do.
Unless you're Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett probably doesn't hate to see it.
Yeah, Garrett's probably pretty happy about it.
Not the easiest game to try to save your season in against you, obviously, but
I'm having this feeling that this is the week that I score bad. I'm missing a few players. I'm getting sick. It's just all coming together.
Yeah. We all know you're going to hold out on that week for at least 4 weeks. After that, though, it's when it becomes an issue.
I'm looking forward to it. Gonna make my laps around the parade for these next 4 weeks because I know nothing's coming after that.
Enjoy this month.
Yep. But speaking of Garrett, that is going to be our game of the week. Catastrophe versus Magic School Bucks. They are only a half game apart and also 0.25 total points apart. That's crazy that they're that close.
That is actually pretty wild.
Number 4 and number 6. So they could 100% swap spots right here.
It's going to be a fun matchup.
But definitely big implications. You know, if either team goes 0-2 on this week, that's going to be a big blow. It'd be really funny if this ends up being the median game too, just to add a little extra pressure.
Yeah.
Last week's matchup was only 3 points separating the two of them, so.
Yeah, and the last time they played, Garrett actually won. It was last year. He won 92-79. So I would have a hard time predicting how this one's going to shake out.
Looks like no major bye weeks for either player either.
Looking at the lineups, Garrett has put Baker back in, the driver of the bus, and Baker is getting Mike Evans back, so could be a massive game for him.
And they're playing the Daniel Jones-less Giants. Interesting that he's not starting Herbert, who's been on a bit of a hot streak, but I see Herbert is playing Baltimore, so I get it.
He's back in that situation of having to decide which quarterback to start, and it's no matter which way he goes, it might be the wrong one.
Chris also has a stack. Mahomes and Kelsey, unfortunately, going against the Panthers. Unfortunately for Garrett.
He's not starting Mark Andrews. He went back to that one time, started Mark Andrews on the bad week, of course.
And got beat by 40 points.
Yeah, to no fault of his own. He did score 130, was the number 2 score on the week. But that's a tough one. Garrett's hope has got to be that the Chiefs get out to a big lead and just start running the ball. And Patrick Mahomes is not throwing touchdowns.
Garrett could also hope for like a fourth quarter benching of Mahomes and Kelsey, not for them doing bad, but because they have the that that's what happened to me earlier this year with Jaden Daniels. So,
but yeah, that's all we got for this week. Ton of implications there for the standings. Only 6 possible wins left, but so much movement that could happen. Like we said, Miller not looking great, but he actually mathematically could get up to second. So it's super close still.
It's crazy.
Good luck to everybody except for Colt. I don't want to be on the grillers.
Double fist and just...